not talking to you.
I'm talking to this lady right here.
Why are you asking her to leave?
Okay, this is between her and us, not yourself.
Why are you asking her to leave?
Okay.
Answer.
You can go over here.
No.
So
You can give
have
us a ticket.
requirement to identify yourself to us right now for trespass to property because they asked you not to.
This is a public facility that we've paid for.
They've asked you to leave. Do you have identification on you? Because you will be arrested under trespass to property at the request of the facility. You don't want to do this in front of your children, right?
We are not trespassing.
Yes, you are.
Okay, come
You
on.
already told me you were.
Really? Hey, you know what? It's not worth it.
Knock that off. Put your hands back. Okay? Don't resist it. There. Put your hands here. We've asked you twice to do it. Yep. Okay. Hold on a second. Here's your glasses. Sit on your head. Okay. This is in your pocket. And I'll grab your phone.
Why are you arresting her?
And this gentleman's with you?
Why are you
I
arresting
already
her?
told you.
You didn't say why she's under
Right
arrest.
now it's under the Trespass to Property Act.
Full sequence to interrupt.
Oh my God. Josh, are you okay?
We are within our rights. Why did you arrest her?
I've already told you twice.
It's
at
not
least.
trespassing. We are within our rights.
We have been asked by the facility manager. Back
We are.
up.
What's your name?
My name is right here on my
And
vest.
what's
Badge
your
number
partner's name?
11819. I'm out of Kincardine. Feel free to contact and find out the rules. Okay, I have to.
A mandate is not a lot.
Don't push by.
Excuse me.
I know firsthand that abortion saves lives. For the thousands of people I've cared for, abortion is a blessing. Abortion is an act of love. Abortion is freedom. We need federal protection now. We need laws that elevate science and evidence and recognize the dignity and autonomy of people accessing care.
A 2018 report by the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine. Abortion is safer than childbirth, colonoscopies, dental procedures, plastic surgery, and tonsillectomies. And yet, facilities that provide abortion care are more likely to be subjected to medically unnecessary, politically motivated regulations that only make it more difficult to provide abortion services.
I want to start by saying I do not regret either of my abortions. I do regret my experience at the Crisis Pregnancy Center. The most traumatic part of my experience was one of those centers and how I was treated there, and I hope that they all shut down because they exist to manipulate and prey on vulnerable pregnant people. And I just wanted to acknowledge a lot of people are being left out of this conversation today because, as we know, people get pregnant and not just women.
Like the roots of the anti-abortion movement, these bans are rooted in patriarchy and white supremacy.
The attempt to control and sabotage a victim's reproductive care and control over themselves then becomes mass adopted by overwhelmingly, frankly, cisgender male state legislatures. How do you see a connection between these abuse dynamics in person and how they inform a culture in which they could be affirmed or in which these laws could potentially help or assist abusers in this dynamic?
Yeah, so unfortunately, our country is actually founded on reproductive control and coercion of enslaved Africans and of indigenous people. So this is actually a historical tactic in our country and a method of upholding white supremacy. So that has not changed and continues today.
Thank you very much, Dr.
And you know what? God did answer our prayers. He made the smartest men and women, the scientists, the doctors, the researchers. He made them come up with a vaccine. That is from God to us. And we must say, thank you, God. Thank you. And I wear my vaccinated necklace all the time to say, I'm vaccinated. All of you. Yes, I know you're vaccinated. You're the smart ones. But you know there's people out there who aren't listening to God and what God wants. You know this. You know who they are. I need you to be my apostles. I need you to go out and talk about it and say, we owe this to each other. We love each other.
In the city of Hudson, a battle over a textbook has led the mayor to call for the entire school board to step down. It's a dust-up that's now getting international attention. Sarah Shookman explains the outrage and what's being done now.
642 Things to Write About is a paperback journal that's been used to supplement a senior writing course in Hudson for the last 5 years. But this week, a number of the prompts got parents' attention.
Write a sex scene you wouldn't show your mom. Rewrite the sex scene from above into one that you'd let your mom read. Drink a beer. Write about the taste. Write an X-rated Disney scenario. I hope each and every one of you is as uncomfortable as I am after reading that.
I was appalled when my wife showed me and read to me a few nights ago what our kids were being exposed to.
A handful of parents and students spoke up at Monday's school board meeting.
The first day we got it, within 10 minutes of us getting this book, all of us around the room had already found the things out.
Hudson's Mayor Craig Schubert took it a step further, calling it a crime.
It has come to my attention that your educators are distributing essentially what is child pornography. So I'm going to give you a simple choice. You either choose to resign from this Board of Education or you will be charged. Thank you.
A district spokeswoman says the book is one of several used in a College Credit Plus course taught by a Hudson teacher working alongside Hiram College. To register their students, parents must sign a form indicating mature content might be discussed. The school responded, though, collecting all the books and investigating if any other consequences are coming, but board members won't be stepping down. President David Zuro sent us a statement saying in part, "While we respect the mayor's position within the city of Hudson, the supervision of the public schools of this district is the responsibility of the Board of Education. And at this time, no Board of Education member has indicated any intention to resign."
Well, it's not clear if any crime was committed. None of those topics had been assigned to students, but Russ, the district is looking into its process for approving such books, these supplemental materials, as they call them. And we did hear back from the mayor today, who said he was too busy with some other duties to talk with us, but he would make time next week.
Again, this getting national attention, NBC covering it, and now the British newspapers have picked it up as well.
Yeah, I think there's it's a pretty big headline that they might be child pornography, calling it that, but you understand some of these prompts inside the book were maybe not what people were expecting.
Okay, thank you so much for your perspective, Sarah. Appreciate it.
When we see outbreaks, we're going to have to respond. So it's not going to go back to normal.
It's not going to go back to normal. It's not going to go back to normal.
We can't deny that we're going to have to live with COVID.
I know that you're not. What's your name, please? Okay, but we have a situation where there's a coronavirus out there and the survival rate is slightly below 100%, and I'm not willing to accept that the government's willing to shut down businesses, destroy people's lives, and to enforce abusive policy that is carried out by you guys.
We're free to disagree all day, all right? We're not here to ruin your day, sir. We're just here to ask you to move on.
I don't need to. I've got every right to be here. I was born in Melbourne. This is my city. You've got no right to enforce to it. I'm not committing any of it. I'm not committing any. Yeah, you should probably tell me why before you grab me.
You're under
doing this?
You're under
dogs! Dogs! Tyranny enforcing!
Just hold him.
Hey, you feel proud of yourselves? Huh?
Step back. Stay still, sir.
What's the survival rate of COVID? Answer me that. Where's COVID caused excess mortality? They're destroying people's lives with this.
It's not going to go back to normal.
I want to be very clear. Life for the unvaccinated will be very difficult indefinitely.
Life for the unvaccinated will be very difficult indefinitely.
Life for the unvaccinated will be very difficult indefinitely.
There's outrage in the Bronx over video showing fresh produce being tossed in the trash. It happened when city officials determined a local vendor didn't have a license. Here's CBS 2's Karen Dillon.
And there's people out here ain't got no. These are the images sparking controversy. City sanitation crews can be seen throwing fresh vegetables and fruit into a garbage truck after confiscating them from this woman, street vendor Diana Hernandez Cruz. The 36-year-old mother of four tells us the experience has left her indignant and upset. It happened Thursday at the corner of White Plains Road and Pelham Parkway in the Bronx. Hernandez Cruz was at her stand when she was approached by the NYPD and representatives of the Department of Consumer and Worker Protection. When she failed to show a permit, she was told her food had to be thrown out.
Proof of vaccination status is now required at more venues across the city. And if you aren't carrying your vaccine card or negative test results, you may not be able to enjoy a concert or event. Now, one company we spoke with might have a more convenient way for you to prove your status. Thanks for joining us. I'm Yolanda Harris.
And I'm Clay Gordon. Andrew's off tonight, and that product is right here on your wrist.
It's kind of becoming second nature, just as you would show your ID to drink at a show. Now you just have to kind of show another thing to get into the venues.
Marissa McClellan of Promo West Productions, that operates Express Live, A&R Music Bar, The Basement, and the Newport Music Hall, says vaccine requirements were the ticket back to live music in Columbus.
I think a lot of people understand that in order to see live music and, you know, the music that they've missed for this last year and a half, this is the step that needed to be taken.
McClellan says there have only been an occasional issue at the door with the new rule in place.
Initially, when we first started the requirements, it was a little bit of a bumpier road, but now that we've had, almost 2.5 months or so under our belts full of shows, people pretty much know the deal now.
So what if you don't have your vaccination card with you? Well, this venue also accepts verified apps and websites. But we spoke with one company that makes these bracelets where you could scan it to prove your vaccination status.
People entering Israel will carry an electronic bracelet to ensure they stick by the strict quarantine rules. An Israeli manufacturer will provide 100 units for the pilot.
The system doesn't spy on you, with the exception of one thing, making sure you are in quarantine.
Tags are a critical component of accurate animal ID. Following some basic tagging practices will improve tag retention and ensure your animal remains accurately identified.
Now, one company we spoke with might have a more convenient way for you to prove your status. Thanks for joining us. I'm Yolanda Harris.
And I'm Clay Gordon. Andrew's off tonight, and that product is right here on your wrist.
I will be signing an executive order to give me the emergency powers necessary to address the shortages where they occur. That's going to allow me to deploy the National Guard, who are medically trained, deploy people who've been retired, who may have had a license lapse, bring in people from elsewhere. That is not my first position, though, my friends. My desire is to have the people who've been out there continue to work in their jobs, work in them safely, and to all the other healthcare workers who are vaccinated, they also deserve to know that the people they're working with will not get them sick.
Last year, I went to go pick up this gift from the district thinking maybe I was already pretty insulted by it, but I wanted to see what it was. And so I went and picked it up from the district because we were, of course, teaching online the whole year. And I got this, I picked up the gift, and here it is right here. In it was, of course, the Black Educators Matter mask, which I would never wear in front of my students. Imagine if someone wore a White Educators Matter mask. This is also a political statement, by the way. Obviously, Black people matter, all people matter, all lives matter. But when you see this is a political statement. So if a teacher has a Black Lives Matter mask or flag or something like that, we will know what their political statement is, political beliefs. It also had a cheapy pencil box, and in it are some candies. What's this? An I Love Being Black pin. I also got a bunch of letters from like various organizations, really long letters from various organizations. This one says, "We greet you and welcome you in the ancient African greeting of Otep, which means the God in me greets the God in you. This is a special greeting for the ones whom the ancients saw as special. You are all special." So this is for all the Black teachers. And I got this donut book where you can write in. It had another I Love Being Black sticker in it. A really cheapy loofah. This was also on it, signed by some of the, I think parents put together this and the district handed it to the teacher. So it has the BLM fist and actually I'm Jamaican, but the continent of Africa on it. Some Avon, which is actually expired from 2005. Honey body wash, right? because, you know, black people need honey, have dry skin.